Now everyone write present chat box. Minas, even you write. Okay, it will be recorded. Write present in the chat box. Thank you. ठीक है. So I'll not take much of the class today. I'm not that pretty well. Okay, and if you can't, you'll be the voice is loud enough. But if you cannot hear me, just tell me. I'll just keep the laptop near to me. ठीक है. So जितने भी है. So we well started with the problems, and I had given first problem this question in your IA test as well. Okay, well I have not corrected all the IA paper, so I don't I cannot give a feedback of it. So maybe in the next before next class I'll correct all the papers and give you a feedback. But it is not that difficult. Some easy है. ठीक है. Two, three simple formulas you need to remember, which I have already studied in the previous semesters, and one new formula which is introduced about exchange ratio. Apart from that, all the formulae you have studied. So you just need to analyze where to apply that formula and what needs to be found out. Okay, so this was the question which I had given, and we had solved it. So we were asked about what is EPS and the exchange ratio. If nothing is given about exchange ratio, we generally take the market price per share. In this case, which is 42 and 28. Market price per share, exchange ratio, not the total market value of the company. Market price per share, or else EPS per share, which was asked in the third one. We take EPS or MPS for the calculation of exchange ratio. If nothing is mentioned, MPS. If EPS is mentioned, then EPS, or else today we'll be doing a sum in which the exchange ratio is already given, and you need to find something new. Okay, which we didn't do in this two sums. So we did this. We calculated the EPS and the swap ratio. Then we calculated this total earnings. Okay, to find out the EPS of the new company. So total earnings we found out. Then total number of shares we found out. Okay, the original number of shares which will be there with the acquiring company will be same, and the the target company will be shareholders will get, in exchange of their original shares, they will get new shares of the new acquired company. Okay? In our case, Mindtree was the target company and L&T was the acquiring company. So when shareholders of Mindtree will return the shares of Mindtree, and in exchange they will get the shares of L&T. Okay, which will happen soon, but it has not that yet happened. In the case of Ultratech, it has happened. Okay, Ultratech, L&T Cement was one of the division which which was listed on stock exchange. Then later on, it was changed its name, and then it came into Aditya Birla Group. So that was the exchange ratio which they had. Exchange they had with the shares. So sometimes company gives cash and shares both. Sometimes only cash, sometimes only shares. So in this type of sums, we are dealing with only shares. Okay, shares के हिसाब से I'm just buying the company. I'm giving shares of my company and I'm buying it. Kind of a barter system. Okay, in which the acquiring company who is acquiring the shares of target company, they are just throwing the shares of the target company. They are not utilizing it in any way. Okay, so ये था. Then we had swap ratio calculated as per the EPS. Okay, then we checked it. Okay, we need to keep the EPS as 5, which was there for the acquiring company. 5 ही रखना है. Acquiring company का जो है EPS वही रख के I just calculate. So in this case, the target company is getting 3,60,000 shares. In the previous case, it was getting 4 lakh shares. Okay, that's the change. Rest all remain same. Then question 2 was very much similar. And I had given you one practice question. So let's discuss it. If you have solved it, you can just refer it. Okay. So in this case, the firm requires firm A acquires firm B by exchanging 0.5 of its shares for sorry. So the firm A acquires firm B by exchanging zero point 0.5 of its shares for each share of firm B. Okay, it is clearly given that firm A acquires firm B. Okay, firm A is the acquiring company, firm B is the target company. Firm Firm A is the target company, firm A is the acquiring company, firm B is the target company. Okay, it is acquiring firm B by exchanging 0.5 of its shares for each share of firm B. That means firm B is giving one share, okay, and in return of one share, okay, they are getting 0.5 shares. That means half. ठीक है, वो कैलकुलेशन कैसे रहेगा? 2 shares मिला तो if you give two shares in return, you will get one share. तो 2 इधर आ जाता है, 1 इधर आ जाता है. ठीक है, so that is what is already given. So you don't need to find out what is the exchange ratio. Okay, it is already given. ठीक है, ये अपने आ जाएगा. Okay, so this is already given, and some information about the company will also be given of both the companies. Okay, for example, like this. So profit after tax is given, number of equity shares given, EPS they have already calculated and given to us. Then PE ratio, this is the new thing, and then the market value per share. ये 40 है, ये 20 है. ठीक है, all the important things we have got, and we need to find out number of equity shares to be issued by firm A to acquisition of firm B. That means वो exchange ratio कितना exchange का, how many new shares the firm A needs to issue to firm B shareholders, ये करना. ठीक है. Second, we need to find the EPS of firm A after acquisition, मतलब merged firm का EPS. Then this I didn't give you in the last class. It is if PE ratio of firm A does not change. Again, that means PE ratio remains same. I hope you remember the formula. PE ratio stands for price, which is market price per market value per share or market price per share. So P stands for price, market price, and E stands for EPS. So ये जो ratio है, this ratio is MPS divided by EPS. MPS is my this, which is 40 and 20, and EPS is my this, which is 4 and 2.5. तो ये P ratio जो है 10 and 8, this will not change by after acquisition. तो 8 वाला तो रहेगा ही नहीं. Firm B will not exist. We will focus on 10 and determine the value of the merged firm. Value find out करना. Okay. ये करते हैं. I hope you must have did this. Swap ratio 0.5 given already. That means the firm A will give one share and they will get, the firm B, which is the target firm, Mindtree will give, what do you say, one share to L&T, and in return they'll get half share of L&T. ठीक है, तो 0.5 है, तो 0.5 share of L&T. ये swap ratio है. So if I'm having 2 shares from Mindtree is going to L&T, then 1 share from L&T will come to Mindtree. If 10 shares are going to L&T, 5 shares will come to Mindtree shareholders. Okay, same way, 100 shares, if Mindtree shareholders are giving 100 shares to L&T, then in return they'll get 50 shares of L&T. ठीक है, तो half हो रहा है जो भी. तो in this case in this case 2 lakhs are the number of shares which are issued, which the firm B has already, okay, which is given in the question. 2 lakh shares hai total, and 0.5 के हिसाब से I am exchanging it. So 1 lakh shares is what new shares will be issued from the acquiring company and given to the target company shareholders. ये लो 2 लाख दो और 1 लाख नए shares ले लो. Okay. Now we need to calculate EPS. EPS again very simple. Total earnings. I'll add the earnings of firm A and firm B. दोनों का earnings add करेंगे. Number of shares, the new number of shares है, so दोनों add करेंगे. So in this case we have found out 1 lakh shares of shareholders of firm B, ठीक है, which we have given them. 1 lakh shares दे दिया हम लोग की कंपनी का, and we had originally 4 कितना था हमारे पास ये वो दिखते हैं न्यू total earnings we are getting as 20 lakhs plus 5 lakhs, so adding earnings of both the companies, and 5 lakhs. So total number of shares 5 lakhs was the original number of shares with company A, and 1 lakh which we have calculated here, ऊपर जो calculate किया 1 lakh, 5 lakhs was the original number of shares. The total number of shares 6 lakhs है, and total earnings 25 lakhs है. So my EPS will be 25 upon 6. 25 lakhs upon 6 lakhs, which is 4.17. Okay. If you observe here, the EPS has increased. Okay, EPS has increased. See in the yeah. इधर कितना था? Firm A का EPS was 4 initially. Now the EPS the EPS the EPS has increased by 0.17. ठीक है, अभी नया EPS मिला. So now P ratio, the third part of the sum. P ratio, the formula is MPS upon EPS. MPS of both the companies we have. Okay. EPS again we have both the things. Now we are calculating. We want to keep PE ratio as constant. अभी both the companies मतलब एक company तो है ही नहीं. Firm B has vanished. ठीक है. The shareholders of Firm B have become the shareholders of Firm A. ठीक है. So that statement is incorrect. Both the companies MPS we have. Oh, we have the MPS. That's it. Yeah, of Firm A. ठीक है. So but the PE ratio which is given in the question as 10, we want to keep it same. ठीक है. इसको same रखना है. And EPS we have got is 4.17. So we have to calculate MPS. Okay, MPS was already given. Now MPS we need to find out because it is given in the question that P ratio should be equal to 10. Okay, just is given. If PE ratio of the firm it does not change by acquisition. After acquisition भी ये 10 का 10 ही रहेगा. Determine the value of the merged firm. ठीक है, ये दिया है. So that's the reason. So NPS we will get multiplication 41.7. तो ये हो गया हम लोग का नया मार्केट प्राइस आफ्टर एक्विजिशन. ठीक है, ये कंप्लीट करते हैं. So the value of the firm is MPS multiplied by total number of shares. अभी total value find out करना. This is value per share, market value per share. We will calculate the total value. So number of shares multiplied by MPS. Now new value of the firm will get us this 6 lakhs है ना, नया number of shares 5 lakhs plus 1 lakh. So 6 lakhs is the new number of shares and MPS 41.7. So this is the new value of the firm. ये इतना करना in this sum. ठीक है. So any doubts in this? No. Okay. Now remember this part, this slide. Sorry. So remember this slide. We'll use it in the next sum. Okay. Next sum is our what you can say last sum of the class. It will take more than half an hour. Okay. So it will be our last sum, and even in next class I'll do the same same category of sum exchange ratio के ऊपर, but there will be more complicated ones. ठीक है. These were very simple ones. They were pretty much complicated. Even this simple sum also comes in exam for 7 marks. तो थोड़ा और कॉम्प्लिकेट हो गया तो थोड़ा सा ही कॉम्प्लिकेट होता है. द बेसिक थिंग रिमेन सेम. ओके, वो जो ईपीएस है, एमपीएस है, वैल्यू ऑफ द फर्म है, एक्सचेंज रेशियो, एवरीथिंग रिमेन सेम. जस्ट दैट न्यू टर्मिनोलॉजी ऑफ फ्रॉम द फाइनेंशियल मैनेजमेंट, डिविडेंड है, प्रेफरेंस शेयर होल्डर्स का है, so new things will be getting added. That's it. But the crux of the sum will remain same. Now in this again, two companies, RIL is considering the takeover of Sunflower Industries Limited, SIL. The particulars of the two companies are given here. So considering takeover of Sunflower, so RIL is our acquiring company, SIL is the RIL is a acquiring company and SIL is a target company. ठीक है, ये दिया है. ठीक है. Well, वैसे भी मैं I'll be sharing this PPT with you. So even just after the lecture, I'll share the PPT. Just go through the PPT once, because I'm explaining and I'm going to the next slide. You don't remember what is given and what we have to find out as I'm going to the next succeeding slides. So just go through it once just after the lecture, so that you will be able to understand it. अंडरस्टैंडिंग इज मोर इम्पोर्टेंट इन दिस टाइप ऑफ सम. ठीक है, इसमें कुछ लॉजिक के हिसाब से वी आर सपोज टू डू. तो ठीक है, तो अर्निंग्स ऑलवेज 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 इट विल बी गिवन. Shares outstanding 99% it will be given, or we can find out shares if market value is given and MPS is given. Okay, market value is 3 crores. Okay, market price per share is 3 rupees. Okay, so what are the number of shares outstanding? 3 crores divided by the 3 rupees. Okay, which you do in balance sheet. Balance sheet में equity shares in bracket rupees 10 per share वैसे कुछ दिया रहता है. Then you will have the value in the balance sheet in the liability side as maybe 3 lakhs. Okay, 3 crores. So we 3 crores divided by 10. If you do, you get number of shares, even if it is not given. But mostly it is given. ठीक है. EPS again, if it is not given, again 2 मिल जाएगा. 2 10 lakhs. 20 lakhs divided by 10, yeah, 10 lakhs. नहीं, 10 lakh, हाँ. 20 lakhs divided by 10 lakhs, 10 lakhs divided by 10 lakhs. So EPS, if it is, even if it is not given, I can calculate. P ratio, it should be given if it is that type of sum. P ratio मिलना ज़्यादातर it will be given. So now in this case, चलो, unmute your mic and answer me. Can I calculate MPS, market price per share? MPS, market price per share. Yes. Can I calculate this using these two? Can you bola? You know the formula of P ratio? What comes in the numerator, what comes in the denominator? And similar to that, what should come? What should नहीं मतलब MPS कैसे? हाँ वही, what should come as MPS? So I'll not move forward. चल कुछ तो बता. MPS. What is formula for P ratio? Can anyone tell? P ratio क्या था formula? Well, ठीक है वैसे तो फिर I'll just move forward what is required and I'll give this as homework. We'll discuss in the next class. Okay, मतलब, and in the next class you can take a book and sit so that if you are interested in solving you can solve it. Otherwise if you can just hearing it you will not be able to remember anything. Okay, so देखते हैं. So required is what is the market value of each company before merger. Second is assume that the management of IR estimates that shareholders of SIL will accept an offer of one share of RIL for 4 shares. ठीक है, इसमें है ना, we need to calculate market value. Okay, again market value is market value per share multiplied by number of shares. Is the total market value of the company. ठीक है, तो total number of shares is given of each company ना, दोनों का total number of shares is given. Then MPS we need to find out. ठीक है, using P ratio and EPS we can find out MPS. Then second it is given assume that management of RIL estimates that shareholders of SIL, okay, will accept an offer of one share of RIL for 4 shares. Okay, that means one in the previous case it was 1:2 मतलब 0.5 था, इसमें 1:, okay, if ये उल्टा हो गया, ये 4 है and this is 1. That means if target company gives 4 shares, in return they'll get 1 share of acquiring company. So SIL के 4 shares in return will give 1 share of RIL. Okay, and if there are no synergetic effects, what is the market value of the post merger RIL? ठीक है, ये just हाँ ठीक है, you need to know this synergetic effects. I'll just explain this required and we'll wind up. तो synergetic effects क्या है? When two companies are coming together, the performance of both the companies combined will be much more than just the addition. That means there is one company whose performance is 3. Okay, just a numerical figure 3. There is another company whose performance is also 3. ठीक है? तो एक्वायरिंग कंपनी का भी परफॉर्मेंस 3 है, टारगेट कंपनी का भी परफॉर्मेंस 3 है in mathematical terms. So 3 plus 3, how much it should be? It should be 6. If 3 plus 3 is 6, then there is no synergetic effect. ठीक है, दोनों मिलके उतना ही काम कर रहे हैं एंड उतना ही प्रोडक्शन, द परफॉर्मेंस हैज नॉट इम्प्रूव्ड. उसका भी 3, इसका भी 3 है. नाउ बोथ आर वर्किंग टुगेदर, द परफॉर्मेंस हैज become 3 and 3, total performance has become 6. So there is no synergetic effect. When can we say there is synergy? Is when 3 plus 3 is coming more than 6, when it is coming 7 or 8 or 9. 3 plus 3, मतलब दोनों when they are performing together, then the output is much more than their addition. So 7 या 8 आएगा synergy का effect. Then if no synergic effect, what is the market value of the post merger RIL? So same way, same you have to do. Market value भी कैसे मिलेगा post RIL, post merger RIL के लिए? Okay, you will merge it, you will calculate new number of shares, you will add the total number of shares, you will add total earnings, you will calculate EPS. Then EPS you have PE ratio with you. Then EPS and MPS, you will have the EPS and PE ratio, you will calculate MPS, okay, market price per share. And after you calculate market price per share multiplied by total number of shares, new shares, you will get the market value of the post merger RIL. Then what is the new price per share? ठीक है, तो इधर ही find out किया new price per share, which is MPS. Are the shareholders of RIL better or worse off than they were before merger? ठीक है, the value of the company, ये जो market value है, this has increased after merger or it has decreased after merger or it has remained same. That I'm seeing. That means I'm seeing 3 plus 3, whether I have got 6, whether I have got 7, or whether I have got 5. ठीक है, दैट कैन बी 3 plus 5 ऑल्सो, मतलब एक का परफॉर्मेंस ज़्यादा था पहले 5, एंड द टारगेट कंपनी हैड दूसरे का परफॉर्मेंस वाज लेस 3. So 5 plus 3, it should be 8. So whether I'm getting the after merger performance as 8 or more than 8 or less than 8 or exactly equal to 8, so that I'll calculate. Then it is given in the third question that due to synergic effects, now there is a effect of synergy that they are telling. The management of RIL estimates that the earnings will increase by 20%. ठीक है, 20% से earnings increase होगा. That means I'll add both the earnings, I'll increase it by 20%. Now, after that, I can find out what is EPS, what is MPS, all the things. ठीक है, so its solution I thought of discussing, but guess you're not in the mood to answer. So I'll finish off the lecture now itself. ठीक है, so I'll give you the question and what is required. ठीक है, if those are interested they can practice it. In the next class we'll discuss the answer. ठीक है, चलो, any doubts you can ask, but I'm not going to share the answer now. ठीक है, ठीक है, no doubts. ठीक है, then we'll wind up. I'll share the answer in the next class itself. Okay, चलो.